Hello everyone, I80386SX, and we have our first bar bet in ages. This bar bet wasn't a direct suggestion from anybody. It wasn't anything that I really came up with on my own. This little nugget came from the Facebook group Compaq LTE and Armada owners. And you will see in front of us we have a Compaq Contura Aero 425 in front of us. The question that came up was the diskette drive right here. The Contura Aero was so small that it did not have a diskette drive built into it, so they came up with this PCMCIA slot thing. And yes, this is a standard PCMCIA slot. I have put wireless cards in this thing before, and they have detected, and I did successfully use them. I'm not sure if this particular port has more abilities on it than your standard PCMCIA, but that's not important for our discussion. So, what is the bar bet? Well, the question that came up, will this work with computers other than the Contura Aero series? Before we go into that, we're going to make a system disk with the machine that was originally designed for. So, I think there's a way to make a startup disk and add or remove programs or something. That'll be a good thing to test if such a thing exists. I have to say that these Contura Aeros were really a marvel of engineering. I basically call them the netbook before the netbook. Oh, yes we can. So my theory was confirmed. We do see a startup disk tab, so let's give it a go. Uh-oh. That's what I try to get for trying to do keyboard. And what we got here? Any existing files on this floppy will be deleted. So let's press OK and let's do it anyway. And we are writing. At least it seems to be the case. Oh, what's this say? Could not. Disk sector was not found. Okay. I have a very short video if this thing died. I would be very sad if it did. Oh, it did something. Rather than move the drive, we'll move the camera. And if I haven't said it already, this is the part of our video, and maybe there might be a few of these that are basically like watching paint dry. But while we're waiting for that to happen, this is what we're going to try and do. And depending on what we all find, this course may change. We're going to take a total of 4 computers with this video. I have 2 IBM ThinkPads. One's a Pentium M era. It's a ThinkPad R52. An IBM ThinkPad 380Z. They have a Compaq LTE 5280. And a Compaq LTE Elite something. I don't know if it's a 440 or a 450CX, or, but it's going to be an LTE Elite series. And I don't know what. Well, we don't have a bum disk, but anywho. So what are we going to do with those 4 computers? First of all, we're going to see if the computers recognize this disk drive. That's going to be number 1. We'll do that on each. We have a variety of Windows 95, 98, XP. And the second half of the test is see if we can actually boot off of this thing on something other, the diskette drive that is, on something other than a Contura Aero 425 or 433C, whatever the case may be. I know the IBM, one of the 2 IBM ThinkPads that we're going to do here, there is an option for booting from a PCMCIA slot. So my theory is I think we'll at least get one of these to boot off of it. But what we'll do, we will, once this disk is formatted, once we can read off of it, we are going to start from the fastest machine to the slowest. So that will be the IBM ThinkPad R52 with XP, and that came from another fellow Facebook group member. I think it came from Low End Mac. Then the IBM ThinkPad 380Z, then the LTE 5280, and then the LTE Elite finally. Alright, so our disk is made, so let us try to boot off this thing. And depending on how long this video gets, we'll see if there's a possibility that the diskette drive is plug and play in DOS, or what we have to do with that if time permits. And we are booted. For a little computer, the keyboard actually isn't terrible. So, we boot from the disk. So let's shut this puppy off. Now, a little extra before I get into this. I have no idea what brand disk drive is inside this machine. I did tear it apart once thinking there was a problem with it because I couldn't get the thing to read for the life of me in Windows 95. It has no branding, it has no labeling anywhere. But, anywho, this device, this diskette drive, is not one of the planned obsolete ones like Citizen made back in the day, where they run off of a really thin belt. There are no belts of any kind in this disk drive, so at least we have that going for us. So, there's that. So now, I don't know if I'm zoomed in or out. We have now our big boy, the IBM ThinkPad R52. And we are going to connect to its PCMCIA slot. Maybe. There we go. Let's see. Now the billion-dollar question is, does this thing have any charge in it? Well, we're gonna have to finagle. Oh, we got battery. We'll do the simpler of the two things first. We'll try to go for boot. Or try to get the system to recognize the disk drive, and then we'll go from there with the booting. I'm not sure how much use this computer has, so I see that I do have my IBM ThinkPad power brick nearby. It's not plugged in, but half the battle is finding stuff around here, so let's get this thing plugged in. So I'm sure the 380Z will need to be plugged in. And the nice thing with these IBM ThinkPads, the pre-Lenovo ones, at least for the longest time, they use the same power brick. So the 380Z uses the same power brick as this R52. I think that was a password. There we go. And it did detect something. Well, that ain't looking too good. And I have some extra so I'm not sure if Windows XP is going to detect this thing. Let me jump around here. Let's get this wireless card enabled in the off chance that Windows Update is actually going to do something valuable here. And, well, you can't see it, but I had 96% charge, so battery was fine. These ThinkPads otherwise are very nice machines, and even this thing being almost 20 years old, there's battery still available for it, their screens are dirt cheap, parts are dirt cheap. I almost like them better than Compaq. That you can actually work on them. Some Compaqs you can't work on at all. Or, well, you can work on them, but they're a nightmare. So, alright, last ditch effort. Let's connect. Ah, shit. I have some excess dial-up stuff from another video in here I gotta get rid of. Bye-bye. Alright. Third time's the charm, maybe. And we can connect to Windows Update. Nope. Okay. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore. Because this computer isn't as important. But I brought this one out because I wasn't sure which two of these IBM ThinkPads had the PCMCIA booting capabilities. Or if I'm remembering that completely wrong, and none of them do. think it's F1 to get into the BIOS. There we go. I was right on at least one thing in this video, so it's not much of a victory, but... So there is USB, floppy, obviously not a USB, legacy floppy drive. So I'm not sure what to make of that, but given that that's the second option, I don't think that this is going to work with this machine. But we will give it the old college try again and see what happens. Nope, that is a no-go. Alright, so I think we beat this horse dead enough. I want to move on to the more interesting computers into this whole thing anyway. And I hope I have an operating system on this 380Z. All right, here comes the thick boy. There's some writing on there that I can't tell. It looks like identical. Not sure if one of these are bootable and one's not, or what. So, you and I are going to learn on the go here. And let's get this thing powered on. It has a hard drive of some kind. Alright. So let's see. And I love the old IBM BIOS with that cursor. That is just something. So power on. I knew it. I was remembering that correctly. Okay, so what the hell? So I want to move this to number. Shoot. There we go. Okay, so floppy 1. Alright, so we got PCMCIA, we got 2 floppy drives. We'll do hard drive. And exit. And restart. Okay. Like I said, I do not know what operating system's on this machine, so we're going to be learning together. And a disk drive did detect. And it did not boot. But this has Windows 2000 on it, so we'll see if it handles this disk drive any better. And I don't know if this is actually going to detect anything or... No, it's trying to do something. And I don't know why it's complaining about the E drive. I don't care about the E drive. Hard drive light is going solid, so it's something's happening here. It is very possible that this machine, or this diskette drive, is tailored to work specifically with the Aero only. And no 486 that I know of can run Windows 2000, so it's not looking too good. And with the not being able to run Windows 2000, Microsoft probably doesn't give a rat's behind about a disk drive made for 486. Again, these computers don't have that problem with planned obsolescence belts either, so we have that going for us. I double check my BIOS order, boot order, make sure I saved everything, as it is possible that I was absent-minded. And no, we don't. Screw that. Probably gonna regret that move at some point, but whatever. There's a CD and a drive of unknown type here. There we go. Okay. We don't need to test anything. We just, everything's fine. Let's see if we can exit the utility. Okay, good. Survey says we still don't know. Yeah, it's in the boot order, so that's special. I'm very interested to try that PCMCIA with maybe some kind of compact flash card. And it did save, so... Nope. So I think we're going to be stopped on the IBM ThinkPads, unfortunately. So that's too bad. So let's move on to what it matters, and at least in the terms of the original quote-unquote suggestion. This is turning into a pretty crappy bar bet, though. Next on our arsenal is the Compaq LTE 5280. This one, the disk drives are starting to get harder and harder to find for this thing. They don't have belts, but geez, they are hard to find. The computers themselves are pretty valuable too these days. Alright, and there's our little LTE 280. I believe this machine also has the BIOS that came out of a dog's butt. It absolutely does. It's version 7.32, so if you have one of these LTE 5000 series, get this garbage off. Downgrade your BIOS to 7.20. ThinkPads back in their resting place. And I will tell you right now, if this only works with the LTE Elite, I won't be entirely upset, because that's probably the most important out of the four, but the more you can get working, the better. Alright, so I don't know if there's anything I can do via boot order on this machine. Boot display. Notebook, hard drive bay, multi-bay. Multi-bay? Holy mother of Mary here. Shit. I'm not feeling particularly great about this one either, but we'll see what we can do here. Does say PC card slots enabled, but I don't know if that is going to do much of anything for us. So let's, hold on, let's cancel. Let's set the time correctly. Not it's going to do as much good because the battery is dead as a doornail. It is April 5th, 2021. And there may be, and for other owners of these wonderful laptops, there is some good news in terms of the internal CMOS battery. There are an indirect replacement for them. If nobody else takes up that offer to upload a video on it, I might just do that. Alright, here we go. So, that looks like a big fat no for booting off the PCMCIA floppy, but let's see if it auto-detects in Windows 95 that is not a Contura Aero. Wonder what happened to my Windows 98 drive. Wow, that's rebooting. I'm gonna go look for that. Okay, I see the computer already. Well, this is going to reset in an hour anyway, as soon as I shut this off, so I'm not going to be losing too much sleep over the time. As long as it's ballpark, it's good enough for me. Oh! It detected it. It didn't do anything, but it detected it. And the device manager says, no way, this device has an error. But it doesn't say what. Ah, I think I know why. So let's shut this puppy down. And let's remove the built-in floppy. Ye gone. Actually, you know, let's sweeten the deal here. Let's shut this machine off one more time. I think I have something just as rare. Ah, come on. Now fix its wagon. We have a rare gem here. The CD-ROM. I think I have 3 of these laying around. I can at least see 2 in the room immediately, so that's good. My luck is this will result in another reboot, and yeah, we're gonna take additional time. See what we got now. Boy. We got nothing. Yeah, it's still trying to read off the built-in floppy, but there's clearly not a floppy in here. So let's see if we can disable this disk controller. And it did not ask for a reboot, which I am shocked about. Because usually Windows 95 wants to reboot if you look at it wrong. And I know it's going to bark about all this, but you know what? Let's see if we can reboot this. It did pick up the disk, so maybe? All right. Well, that is not looking great. Not present, and I don't know why in the wide world that's complaining, because we disabled that. Alright, device is disabled. Do not use automatic settings. Let's see if we can. This source cannot be modified. Alright, let's see if we can shut that drive bay off completely at this point. got it just before it did any real damage. Alright, let's see if we can disable some of these ports. I don't know if we can. We'll not boot from the diskette. That we don't want that. Ports. Serial air parallel and power management. PC cards. Nope. This is the most god-awful BIOS I've worked in. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see if we can disable diskette drives. Well, this might be our last gasp of hope here. All right. Well, are you kidding me? Well, Windows 95, you suck. As you can tell, I disabled the diskette drives even in the BIOS, and it still didn't take. And the floppy disk controller, you know what? Let's remove it. I'm surprised it did not ask for a reboot, but we'll reboot anyway. If this doesn't work, then I'm giving up hope on this thing. No. Are you serious, man? That's not looking good, and I am getting rather irritated with this, so we're going to move on. Yeah, I did a number on this thing. Okay. Unless I did not save my changes. That's the only thing I could think here that would prevent us from doing anything of value here. I really don't know. That's security. Yeah, this is disabled diskette drive. So with that in mind, I am going to give up unless there's something I am missing here, but it doesn't look like that I am. So that is going to be the end of our little experiment with this computer. Yeah, die. Finally, last but not least, we are down to the 486 LTE Elite. And it is a 440CX. I'm not sure if we're going to run into the same difficulties with this one that we ran into with the 5000 series, but we're going to find out. One little blurb about the 5000 series, maybe with a different operating system like NT4, where you may be able to disable a little bit more stuff, you might be okay. But Windows 95 feels like it's a turd, so there's that. And this does have spinning rust in it, so that, I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for what we're trying to achieve in this video, but bloody hell. Now it's got DOS on it. You know what? Let's let this ride. I do have a Windows 95 hard drive somewhere. And the survey says I only see one floppy drive on here, so that is doubtful. Nope. It is going to try and go off the built-in Citizen W1D drive. Let's see if I can get in the BIOS on this thing, and maybe, just maybe, we can disable that drive controller. And, okay. I gotta get in that BIOS, and this hard drive does not have that on there. So, there is going to be a small delay in our little craziness of crazy here. Where did that other computer go is going to be my million-dollar question. Right there. Of course, it's on the bottom. Wouldn't you know it? Put this a little bit further on our table anyway. So, there's also a Windows 3.1 drive, so I'm not going to use that one either. Oh, wait a minute. This may have the utility I want on it, so let's hold off on that panic button here. Okay, F10. What in the name of high school football are you talking about missing utility? Yeah, okay, that's too bad. Alright, I think I'm going to have to dig out that hard drive with Windows 95 on it, because for whatever reason, my SD card or CF card is no longer working. Ain't this fun? And before I really screw something up, I'm going to get this hard drive out of the way so we don't mix up drives. I think that's the drive right there that I want. Bingo! I think I found my Windows 95 LTE Elite drive. And just to show you, there's something you do not see every day, is a Quantum Daytona. Quantum also made Go drives, which were okay until the rubber started melting in them. This drive did not suffer that same fate, at least as of yet. We might be in for an unpleasant surprise here soon. Let's see here. And this one does not have the utilities on it. My God, this is gonna drive me crazy. Well, let's see what this does anyway. It's not booting off the PCMCIA slot, so it did detect the drive. I don't know if that means anything. I think it has some of the worst lines on it. Now you want to restart. And we have the 3.5 inch floppy to this point, but it may also require a reboot here as well. My God, yeah, that's been a long time since I used that name in any capacity. Wow, come on now. Resource conflict. Can we do anything with it? Nope. We can't do a darn thing with it. I wonder. No, it didn't work on the 5280, but that doesn't mean it ain't going to work here. And it did not get that message on the 5280. So that's, take care of that. I may have to dig out my other LTE Elite to see what we can do depending on what our end result here is. My other LTE Elite has working diskette drive. And still no second floppy. Unless, well, let's give it a try and see what we got. Nope. We are not ready. So, now now this is going to be interesting. Apparently in the world of Windows 95, disable means work anyway for whatever reason. Or work enough to the point where I'm still going to struggle with this. So, fun times. Bear with me on this one, I gotta dig for it. Probably too many computers sitting on top of it, but whatever. One of these days I'll rearrange in here and then be a little bit more creative on it. But until then, so what did I... No, I never bothered to remove it. Now we are upgraded to the LTE Elite 450CX. This is a much nicer machine out of the two I have. Okay, what do we got? Ah, stupid hinges on the other hand. stink. I believe the diskette drive on this machine came out of an oscilloscope. But I don't care. I care about working. We do have another potential side effect here that I think will reset itself. Is that if we disable the diskette drive controller and we have no way to get back into the BIOS. And we will go with not installed. Probably kick myself for this. Let's see what ignore changes does. I'm really curious. Help if I take the disk out of the drive, right? Holy English. It could be a possibility if this diskette drive, the built-in one, was physically disconnected, that we could, okay. That we don't have to do anything goofy to get this to work on this machine. Yeah, because now it sees. Let's go back to advanced. Let's see if that tells us of anything of significance here. Oh, it's got SCSI can hold your horses here. We can disable it here. I don't know if this is going to fix the boot problem. I strongly doubt it. But we shall see. And nothing doing there. Well, that's going to be a tough, sticky predicament if I ever run into the wrong side of that. Let's take the disk out of the machine. All right, here we go. The moment of truth is well upon us. And I'm going to say that's not looking good. I don't know why. It's disabled and still. Goodness, I disabled it. It's not even enabled in the BIOS, and look at this. Oh, hold on here. Well, maybe with a restart, I got something I didn't get on the other computers, was that light. That's a sign of things to come, I hope. Let's see. Fortunately, I locked this machine up good. Yeah, this thing is cooked. So I'll just shut it down. This is turning into a very ugly video. Bastard. And that's still looking like a crapshoot here. How are we gonna remove this outright? Yeah, I think this Daytona drive didn't expect to work so hard today, but... And unfortunately, this thing is disabled in the BIOS, and somehow, some way, the damn thing still finds it. And I am not feeling very good about this one. The machine is trying to read the disk. But nothing's actually happening here, so I'm gonna be honest, I'm not feeling good about this at all. And I don't know if the clicking is the hard drive or the floppy drive. Yeah, this thing is basically in a vegetative state, so I think our bar bed is a complete and total bust right now. So I'm gonna remove this thing out of there. So in conclusion, I was not able to get this drive to work in anything at all. Not for boot, not for using it in Windows as a side-by-side. Oh shoot, I forgot. So it is very possible that this may work just fine if the diskette drive... What the hell? Are you kidding me? Okay. That's what I was afraid of. Now that I disabled the... why don't you know it? I disabled that floppy option in the BIOS, and now I can't get to the BIOS to re-enable it. That's just been about the way this video has gone. But before I sidetrack too far, neither the IBM ThinkPad booted off the drive, nor did it detect it. And I have a feeling that it probably wouldn't have worked anyway due to the fact that we were getting conflicts with floppy disk controllers and other whatnot. On both of the LTEs, basically the same thing. It would detect it, but there would be conflicts, and Device Manager just didn't completely disable the onboard floppy controller, and even disabling the diskette drive controller in the BIOS on both LTEs did not get anywhere. So that's really unfortunate. And hopefully I did not brick my good LTE Elite doing this, but it is what it is. It is very possible that even Windows 98 could actually disable that controller like it's supposed to. It's very possible that NT4 would work fine. It's very possible that in the LTE Elite, if you pull out the built-in disk controller, that you would at least be able to use it in the system. I don't know. This is turning into a mighty long video, so I kind of want to cut this off and wrap this up. So it's not looking good for using a Contura drive on anything else. And to answer the question about the computers that show up the most in this videos, or my videos, the Compaq LTE lights, that's definitely a no-go because there's no PCMCIA slots on there, period. So, not even going to waste time with that one. So, unfortunately, a huge bust. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or constructive criticism, or if any of you fellow LTE Armada owners actually do get this working, please drop it in the comments section. I'd be very interested to see if there is any positive stories on it, or there's something I missed. So, and for that gentleman or lady, I don't remember who it was, if they want to sell back that Contura disk drive to me, look me up. I could always use more of them. So, thank you for watching. I'm sorry I've wasted an hour, almost an hour and a half of your time.